he's been lying to me about his smoking. Should I let him know that I know? When I used to do live stop smoking clinics, I used to call my clinic participants during the clinic, and I would do it at follow up for months and sometimes well over a year. And sometimes I wouldn't get the clinic participant on the phone. I would often get the family member on the phone. Now, this was beneficial during the clinic because I was able to help them understand at times what the member was going through while in the clinic, what problems they may have been encountering, and give them suggestions on how to deal with it. Probably one of the biggest suggestions I would have is when people would say they were really concerned because the person was off smoking and they were doing okay normally, but just like the night before, they said like, could they go for a cigarette right now? And the spouse the non-smoking spouse who heard this would often get real upset and jump all over them, and they'd almost end up in a fight about this. And I would try to help them understand the better way to deal with this isn't to attack them and telling them that they don't want a cigarette, but just basically tell them what I try to tell them that they should be telling themselves, and that is, well, yeah, you want one, but how do you feel about the others that go with it? See, when you do it like that, you're not telling them what or what not to do. You're just kind of laying the option out. And that is truly what I want every former smoker to do when they get the thought for a cigarette, is to really focus on the fact that, yes, at that moment in time, maybe they want the cigarette, but do they want the others that go with it? And do they want the problems that go with the others? Because generally when put into that kind of perspective, the person will say, no, I don't want them under those terms, and everybody leaves basically on the same side. You're happy you're not smoking, and the family member's happy they're not smoking. There's no fight involved. But the interesting calls also were when I get a family member on the phone who's kind of mad and they haven't dealt with this yet, and they'll say they either found cigarettes or they smell cigarettes on the person or they saw them smoking, but the relapsed smoker has not admitted to it. And the spouse, if it is a spouse or if it's a parent, whatever it is, they feel lied to, they feel betrayed. And I try to point out it's not atypical that a smoker will do this. They're going to try to hide it. And I have a few videos already addressing that I will attach in the description here. One of them is I've got my smoking under control, and that one is more how it could affect other people who've quit smoking around as opposed to non-smokers, and the closet smoker, which deals with this phenomena of people who hide their smoking. But as far as a tactic of what approach to take with them, and understand these people are generally pretty mad that they're being lied to, and they almost want to do a confrontation, and my general advice was, no, I wouldn't let them know. And then I would explain why, in terms that I think that they would find somewhat satisfying. One is, if you let them know, they're just going back to full-fledged smoking, because now they're not hiding it anymore. While they were smokers who weren't admitting to be smoking, they had to go through a hiding ritual. It wasn't working because, let's face it, the non-smoker who I'm talking to knows that they're smoking by one means or another, but the person who's relapsed doesn't know that they know, and now they have to continue this charade of, they're not smoking. So it makes it harder for them to smoke. That'll help keep their smoking level down, which will also keep them into pretty much more of a miserable state, because if they're going to smoke and they're smoking everything, they're not dealing with just constant peak withdrawal. These people are dealing with constant peak withdrawal. I'd often say to them, the other thing is, congratulate them every now and then. Tell them what a good job they're doing. Tell them how proud you are. Just every now and then, just blurt it out that how proud that they're doing it. Maybe even saying it in front of other people. It may get them to fess up, but often it won't. Maybe every now and then, buy them a present because of the good thing that they're doing. It'll create a tremendous sense of guilt. Now, I'm not doing this to punish the person. The person who I'm saying it to may like the idea because they see it as a form of punishment, but what it does do is it makes smoking a very unenjoyable event. Even if they're enjoying the fix they're getting at that point in time, the guilt that they're feeling every time they're into this confrontation with the family member, congratulating them what a good job they do. It it may start to eat at them. And that's the thing. You want the smoker not to get comfortable into a smoking life. There's no smoker who should be comfortable in a smoking life if you understand what it means to be in a smoker's life. They're constantly having to feed an addiction to stave off withdrawal. They're constantly destroying tissue. They're putting their health at risk. They're putting their life at risk. It's not fun to be a smoker. And on top of that, closet smokers who are always afraid of getting caught. Maybe if smoking gets miserable enough and they recognize how much of a hassle this is, it may be the motivation for them to start another quit. So, again, while the person who I am speaking to may at first take this as a punishment to the relapsed smoker, I hope that they see it more as a way of seeing an incentive to help them to quit smoking. Because if the person who is now relapsed really takes into consideration all the implications of what they are dealing with their current smoking, the risks they always face just by being a smoker, and then the hassle of having to live this lie, hopefully they'll come to the logical choice that they've got to get out of this lie. And one way is they can admit up and fess up, which at least will get the integrity issue out of the way. But hopefully the better solution is they'll realize they need to quit, and maybe they will quit, and that'd be great. That'd be great for everyone involved, especially for the new former smoker, though, because by quitting, they will help to enhance their health, their life. They probably improve their relationships at this point in time, and to be able to maintain those benefits, all they'll need to do this time around is to stick to the personal commitment that they hopefully will make this time to never take another puff.